we're back. This time, Christine's not as sleepy.
I think we were both sleepy. I'm just gonna say that right now.
No, I was wide awake. So...
Yeah.
Welcome back again to a very wide awake episode of Christine and Bob.
Occult Class.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I'm a little bit sleepy right now.
Well, looks like you lied to everyone, huh? That's pretty rude. That's fine. I didn't lie. And I'm gonna steal the spotlight and start first.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
In the winter of 1974, on a lonely stretch of fog-shrouded road, a Wisconsin farmer had an inexplicable encounter with a clearly terrified, cow-like humanoid entity that appeared to be sealed inside of a floating, semi-illuminated, bullet-shaped chamber. Are you intrigued?
I'm confused, but yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, it gets better. Not long after 10 p.m. on the chilly evening of December 2nd, 1974, a 60-year-old Polk County dairy farmer by the name of William Bosak was driving southeast on his way home from a co-op meeting in Frederick, Wisconsin. Being a practical man, Bosak had little time for foolishness regarding UFOs or aliens, so no one could have been more surprised than he when, during the course of his often-made journey, he had a run-in with a creature clearly not of this earth.
I'm surprised that we're doing aliens now, right?
Finally, aliens. This event occurred as Bosak was cautiously making his way through the low-hanging patches of dense fog that hovered over the rural road that led to the 450-acre farm which he had owned and operated for the better part of 4 decades. That's 40 years if you don't want to do the math. Less than a mile from his home, approximately 10:30, Bosak was startled when his headlights suddenly caught the glint of a conical capsule-shaped object that seemed to be hovering in the distance. Warily, he slowed his vehicle to a crawl to get a better look at the odd, more or less bullet-like device that appeared to be suspended just above the curb on the left side of the road. The lower portion of the machine was partially enveloped in the mist, so the farmer could not be positive that the thing was or was not perched on something, but it gave the impression of something floating. As the anxious Bosak brought his car to a halt, he noticed that the front of the nearly 10-foot-tall, 3-foot-wide structure had a window made of a curved glass that exposed a brightly illuminated interior compartment. It also revealed an odd creature, quite unlike anything the elderly farmer had ever seen. In his own words, he said, "I can remember, just if it were yesterday. A little taller than a tall man, I could see a figure, with its arm raised above its head. He was looking out the window, and it was a different kind of character than you'd seen on this earth. It looked a good deal like a man, but it had a different looking face that you'd see. It had kind of a cow-looking face. Dark tan fur, except for its face and chin. It had a square face, with hair sticking straight out from the sides. The ears stuck out from the head about 3 inches, and the eyes were large and protruding. The ears were calf-like. Some descriptions suggest that the fur was not actually attached to the creature, but it was a skin-tight woven fabric of tannish brown color that clung to the being's torso like a diving suit. As striking as the creature's appearance may have been, what struck the frightened farmer the most was how apprehensive the creature within looked. It appeared to be just as scared as he. Although the interlude of eye contact between the two lasted for perhaps 10 seconds, the moment seemed to stretch into minutes. When the Midwesterner finally got over the initial shock of the encounter, he blinked and suddenly found himself overcome with fright. In a state of near panic, Bosak slammed his foot down on the accelerator and sped away from the bizarre beast and floating shell that was either protecting or incarcerating it. Just when he thought he had left the object of his distress behind, Bosak noticed that the light inside his car had inexplicably grown darker, as if he was suddenly surrounded by an amorphous shadowy shroud. Then the sound of his engine began to fade, as the beam of his headlights dimmed. It was then that Bosak heard a kind of soft whooshing, followed by a scraping noise, not unlike branches scratching against the roof of a car. The terrified senior citizen pushed the pedal to the metal. Safety, but damned. Through the wispy fog, he was able to reach his house.
That's good.
Once on his own property, Bosak managed to calm himself down. He started to breathe in. He
was pregnant, apparently.
No, he was just breathing.
Hee-hee-hoo.
Yeah. You know, that's how you breathe when you're scared. And luckily, he could not see anything through the pea soup fog below. It was gone. In his own words, he said, "I was so goddarn scared, I was afraid to go out at night for a few days."
No, well, he got over it pretty quickly, actually.
Bosak ignored his wagon load of duties on the farm and immediately returned to the location of his encounter that morning. Needless to say, in the light of day, the object and so-called human were nowhere to be found. Unfortunately, the only evidence of his encounter was a circular patch of flattened grass, 6 feet in diameter below where the object had hovered. Bosak managed to keep his silence for 3 weeks, but eventually confided in his wife and son. He told them the more time that elapsed since the incident, the more he began to regret his actions, feeling that he should have stayed and attempted to communicate with this being. In his words, he said, "I wish that somebody had been in the car with me at the time. I should have stopped and tried to show it I was friendly. I wished I could meet up with this creature again." Whether it turned out his family was unable to keep his secret, or if he himself spread the tale, it didn't take long for word of Bosak's run with the cow-like critter in the case to spread throughout Polk County, and soon after a story about the incident appeared in the St. Paul Pioneer Press. Followed by this exposure, Bosak was approached by Everett E. Leitner and Dewey Birchfield, a field investigator from the Wisconsin-based Aerial Phenomena Research Organization, APRO, a UFO research group, founded by legendary UFO investigator and author Jim and Cora Lorenz. Bosak told the investigator that the illustration that had been published in the St. Paul Pioneer Press was essentially accurate, but the ears of the entity were located higher up on the head. If you want to find that picture,
I do.
Christine's either put it up or she's put it in the link below. One of these are true.
Oh,
that dramatic pause was for you to find out if it was true.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Did I tell you about that? My phone just still type for me.
It's because it's haunted. Which is good. We need this. Considering just how bizarre this encounter was, Bosak understood the skepticism on display by his neighbors and reporters, but he insisted that this was the God's honest truth. If need be, he'd be willing to prove it. He'd said. He'd take a lie detector test. But sadly, that was it.
Well, that's it?
He never saw it again, and nobody's seen it since then. Hopefully that poor cow man is not in jail as we speak. Space jail. But he might be.
Well, I'm not finding any images right now, but I don't know. Yeah.
What did you type in?
I typed in Bojack, alien, cowhead. Oh no, my phone's doing it again. Stop it!
Christine's haunted phone would not help her find the Bosak humanoid.
She's wants to click on all the pictures, and I'm like, please stop.
That's fine. She shouldn't be typing anyway. It's time for her to get into her topic.
Yes. Now we are getting into Louisiana, Orleans, in America, because why not? I'm actually going to be talking about some ghosts and haunted places that you can go to and stay at. Funny thing, while researching, these two are quite linked in history, so very interesting. There's actually quite a bit of history on both, but a lot of it that I was reading had nothing to do with ghosts, so I didn't include it because it was just not interesting. But first house I'm going to be talking about, or the first hotel I'm going to be talking about, is the Lafitte Hotel, or the Lafitte Guest House. It's on Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, and it's been there since the mid 1800s. Actually, I guess both of them have been there since around the mid 1800s. Before the Lafitte Guest House was there, there was a hotel on the land. Or not a hotel, a hospital. Hospital on the land. Which, this hospital, I actually read about this hospital like a long time ago, because it was just like an interesting part of American history. But like, this hospital like was trying to deal with like a lot of, I can't remember what epidemic it was, but there was like a illness going around, like yellow fever or something, and the hospital didn't discriminate between class or race or anything like that. They're just like, you're sick, we're gonna try to help you. And that's pretty cool, in my opinion. Did they help a lot of people? Not really. It was still the mid 1800s. A lot of medical science wasn't still not great, but boy were they trying. They were trying. Though unfortunately the hospital did burn down to the ground, which is unfortunate. But after the fire, they built a simple building out of brick and wood, and in the mid 1810s, the building was possessed by Pierre Lafitte, and guess what he was?
A ghost.
A pirate.
He was a pirate ghost?
He was a motherfucking pirate. We talk about pirates.
Yayo, yayo.
Yeah, there's not much history with that, other than it was a pirate. I don't know, he kept the house alright. He had a wife or a partner that he kind of guilted into dining with him, which was really unfortunate, but, you know, he's a pirate. They don't really have good morals.
He said, marry me or else I'm gonna go be a pirate again.
So, I think it was just like, for a place to say, you gotta have sex with me a lot.
Oh, he's a landlord. Jeez.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. Now we get into like...
Wait, but was it free then?
For that one person, yes.
Damn, that's a good deal nowadays. I don't gotta pay $1,000. I just gotta have sex. Shit.
With somebody that you don't like and will have sex with.
Yeah,
like
dude, that saved me $1,000 though. Damn. Cost me $1,000 to get rent over here.
Bob has never had sex. I'm just gonna say right now.
Yeah, not with a real human. Whatever. For $1,000 though, dog. Damn.
Well, it wouldn't be $1,000 back then.
I mean, it's still, the rent is inflating.
Rent is inflating currently. Yes. Yeah, I'm living this life. I am paying rent.
It's probably about the same back then. It was probably, instead of $1,000, it was like 3 copper and a chicken. Damn, for 3 copper and a chicken, I could get a house. Continue with your amazing ghost guy house.
So I'm gonna get into like the ghosts. There's not many ghosts. Actually, both these, I thought there were gonna be more ghosts, but it's more ghost stories than there are particular ghosts, like individual ghosts. So it was a little bit sad. But in the room 21 of the Lafitte, I want to say Lafayette, which is not at all right. That's something else. The Lafitte Hotel. One child died of yellow fever, and the child's sibling hung herself in that room, in room 21. And unable to cope with the grief of both of her children dying, the mother died in the room as well, just from grief. And it said that you can hear, like, or you can feel, like, this, like, energy of, like, sadness and despair. And you can hear crying in the room as well. And there's another girl. People have named her Mary, who also died in the building. She's said to wander the hotel along with her mother. The number of there's a number of children, people playing haunted. So yeah, basically a bunch of kids are being seen in the hotel. So like it's like full of children. It is a playground of ghosts. But that probably has something to do with the hospital, I think. Like, logically. And the next hotel I'm going to talk about is the Dauphine Orleans Hotel, which is also in the French Quarter. The hotel dates back to 1775 and was also on the land of the hospital that the Lafitte guest house was on, because it was a pretty big hotel or hospital. And in 1857, I skipped a bunch of history because it was just a house. It was a hotel, nothing interesting. But in 1857, the building was owned by May Bailey and was known as May Bailey's Place. It was a brothel. It turned into a brothel / bordello.
Damn, for chicken and 3 coppers?
I will say this right now, though. It was not doing very well.
Oh.
Like, and it became this out of desperation because no one had money back then. So, yeah, it was pretty much just super sad and stuff. Some of the prostitutes there were not so savory. 2 of them were notorious for bad behavior, including getting arrested for theft. One woman stole $500 from a patron, and the other one sold $12 and went to jail.
How are you gonna... who the heck, excuse my French, brings $500 to the brothel?
Not everyone has a bank, right?
I guess, but you're gonna keep inflate that today, that's like...
These are traveling men. They gotta keep
$5,000. Hide that shit in your butt. I don't know.
Who knows?
That's
Maybe
like
that's why they were
$5,000.
hiding it. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It was a lot of money back then.
That's like 4 copper and 5 chickens.
These women were known to slink into the doorways of the brothel and lure in men and then beat the shit out of them, sometimes killing them and then robbing their bodies.
Nice.
So it was not so great. There's like these 2 women. Let me try to get their names again. I have it up, I think. Do I have it up? I can't scroll on this website. This website sucks. What were their names? Eliza Riddle? Yeah, Eliza Riddle's the one who went to jail for... She's the one who stole the $500. But she had a fight with one of the other sex workers. And, like, she hit this other woman with a bottle and, like, cracked her skull open. And she's also been known to, bring in lamps into the equation. Like, I don't know, it's really bad. She's really violent. And the other one, Nellie O'Neill, when she was getting arrested, she almost clawed out the eyes of the officer who was arresting her. So, these are unsavory people. But now I'm going to talk about the ghosts, or I think it's just really one ghost and then a bunch of spirits from probably the hospital or past patrons. So one of the ghosts is what's her face? May Bailey's sister, younger sister. Her name is Millie. And
Vanilli.
what?
Vanilli.
Just Millie.
Vanilli.
Vanilli.
Yeah.
Why?
Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli? No.
Band.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know that band.
What?
What songs do they
God.
play? No? Not gonna tell me what songs they played? Fine. So Millie,
Vanilli.
was supposed to... Well, okay, so she was really unhappy with, her older sister changing the place into a brothel. And, she wanted nothing to do with it. So she decided that she wanted to get married and get out of this hellhole. And so she looked hard and far, and then she eventually met this Confederate soldier, and they hit it off. And they were due to get married. So, on the day of the wedding, her husband was found dead. He was shot while gambling. On the wedding day. Classy. So, she was stood up at the altar, obviously. And,
No. It's not stood up if they're dead.
yeah, sorry. She was left at the altar because there was a stiff involved. And, yeah, so she was known to walk the halls after the not wedding and wear the wedding dress. Just like, oh, I was supposed to get married. I was supposed to be a bride. And then, I guess these memories are paved in the history of this place because her spirit wearing the wedding dress is known to walk the halls to these days. So it's pretty awesome. The other ghosts are more occurrences. It's like a bunch of the staff, like, doors will fail to, like, be locked even though they, like, lock them and hear the click click of a lock, and it will just be found open. And one woman said, one of the workers said that she was going to work at the, like, she was getting ready for the work at the bar, and one of the bar stools was floating, and people said they heard voices and a bunch of stuff. Actually, I mean, if you know about this, you're probably going to be like, okay, cool. So BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural did a video actually about the Dauphine Orleans Hotel, which is pretty awesome. And I recommend that video because it's pretty cool. They actually do experience something spooky for once. Also, it's hilarious. So, I recommend that. I'm done.
Oh.
That's all I got.
Well, that's an ending, I'll tell you that much. Jeez.
Yeah. Do you have another story, or are you done too?
I don't know. Do I have another story? I guess I'll have to check. American Indian Myths and Legends by Richard Erdos and Alfonso Ortiz. Let's flip the pages. Oh, there we go. The 9. Here we go. There's a great pole somewhere. A mighty trunk similar to the sacred Sundance pole, only much, much bigger. This pole is what holds up the world. The great white grandfather, Beaver, of the North, is 9 at that pole. He has been 9 at the bottom of it for ages and ages. More than half of the pole has already been gnawed through. When the great white beaver of the North gets angry, he gnaws faster and more furiously. Once he is gnawed all the way through, the pole will topple and the earth will crash into a bottomless nothing. That will be the end of the people, of everything, the end of all ends. So we are careful not to make the beaver angry. That's why the Cheyenne never eat his flesh or even touch a beaver skin. We want the world to last a little longer. The end.
He's nice.
He's nice.
He's nice.
It's like, is Adonis the one who holds the world up?
Yeah. I think. Atlas? No, Atlas.
It's Atlas.
Adonis
Atlas
is
holds
just
the world up.
an amazingly looking man.
Atlas is an Adonis, so
Yeah.
I wasn't wrong.
You're
But
not wrong.
remember, everyone, don't eat beavers.
Beavers.
I'm saying this to the Canadians. I've seen you guys do that.
Beavers' meat would be pretty acidic. I don't think it'd be very good. Because
Why is it gotta be acidic?
Why? Because they eat bark and wood.
Why is it gotta be like that?
Wood and bark make meat taste acidic because that's what they're getting out of it.
Maybe I want them to acidic.
Sure, if you wanted to. It's probably
No,
gonna
I
be
just said not to
gamey as
eat
fuck.
beaver, Christina.
I like beaver tail, which is not at all a beaver tail. It is.
Everybody
a pancake.
listening, if you learn anything from our show, don't eat beavers.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. If you eat a beaver, we're all gonna die.
I'm gonna die.
Especially Christine.
Because
So don't
I've
eat the
seen
beaver.
so many beavers in my life. They're so cute.
Instead, when you see a beaver, hug it and let it bite you.
Don't go near a beaver because they got some chompers on them.
But that was another episode of Christine and Bob.
Yes. Christine and Bob Occult Class. Why are you calling it Christine and Bob?
I'll see you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.